crochet designer for one-of-a-kind makers who dare to be original. And I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds to find me. And while I'm doing that, I just want to open with a prayer, a really quick prayer. Lord, thank you for this amazing hour that we're going to have together. I hope that I pray that I get to say the things that I want to say, the things that are in my heart to reflect upon this week, and then to plan for a better week than I had this past week. And thank you for these amazing women that are in my life. And hopefully, I pray that we get to find time, carve time and energy to pursuing better versions of ourselves and glorifying your name. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, if you're here, say hi so I know who I'm chatting with this morning. Whew, crazy. One of these days, I'm going to come on these lives not sweating and like with my temperature completely super high and hot. But one of these days I'll come in cool and calm. But usually my nerves just take over, and then me rushing adds a whole other sweat level. So the topic this week is revisiting my big why. So I had a really stressful week this week. I had a doctor's appointment that I'm always nervous about. And then the doctor's appointment forced me to go and make more appointments that are adding more to my anxieties. And so it was just a really stressful week. So the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be looking at my health and having more doctor's appointments. So they're always physically draining and mentally draining as it is. And then this week I had to go to a funeral for my godmother's aunt passed away, and she's really, really close to her. So I wanted to be there for my godmother and to pay my respects and everything. And so being there added another stress level for me because it made me revisit my dad's passing years ago. So, hi, Linda. Hi, Gayla. Thanks for saying hi. So needless to say, this week was really trying for me. And so that's why I didn't do a weekly newsletter. And so I had to postpone my creative interview for the week with, I'm drawing a blank on her name again. What is wrong with me and and my memory? But so that will be coming out this Wednesday. Sarah Willens. For some reason, I had the W in my head, so I was like, I don't know any W names. Sarah Williams. So Sarah Willens. So definitely check out that creative interview that will be coming out this Wednesday. I'm going to work on it this weekend, actually, barring time. So, but so health-wise, I think I've gotten that under control. I've done enough praying and a lot of chats with my husband and everything, and so I think I got it under control. But the being at that funeral, being at that the viewing on Wednesday evening, it took me it made me revisit my dad's passing years ago. Hey, Ellie, so glad you can join us. And so I wanted to. I'll tell you the story about him another time, like how what had happened, but he had passed of a heart attack and we were at the hospital for like 24 hours trying to save him, but and then we couldn't, and that's a story, a miracle story in itself. But I had to write the eulogy, and it's weird, it was weird because I guess I had suppressed this. It's been 4 years, approaching 5 in April 22nd was the day. And unless it's the 23rd, my mind is not what it used to be. But I feel like it was the 22nd. And So I had to prepare for the eulogy and write the eulogy, and I wanted to take the time to read the eulogy because in that eulogy is my big why for pursuing Von Nitz at the time, which is now VK, Von Kavitz. That was me selling online and my opening my Etsy shop and me pursuing this online career, this online shop career that I've been pursuing for the past 4 or 5 years now. And so I just want to take a time to read it real quick, and then it's one page, but I haven't looked at it, so in my head I just planned on doing it. I know that I needed his help in writing it because when I got to the hospital, he wasn't conscious, and he never woke back up. So that regret or that loss is I still grapple with, you know. But I know that he was with me, and I know the Lord was with me the entire time, and I know he helped me with this. Both fathers helped me with this, even in delivering it. So I just want to take 2 minutes to read it and then talk about my big why and talk about your big whys, why we do the things that we do. And remember, we always said that your whys have to be strong, and the past Monday morning motivations were always like, your why. If you're starting an online business to make money, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Fame and success is not good enough because you need a stronger why to persevere through the hardships. And this one of the weeks is hardship. When you're a solopreneur, it's even harder because everything rides and dies with you, with your energy, with you showing up for yourself, So if you're not, your headspace isn't in it, your heart's not in it, it's gonna flop and you're gonna quit. And you're gonna run into some times that will make you want to quit every other second of the day. That's owning your own business. That's life in any endeavor you choose to pursue. Good morning, Kathy. So I just want to read the eulogy real quick. Hopefully I can get through it, but I feel like I can. Most people here don't believe that I can get through this eulogy today. There is one man here that knows that I can, and I would like to tell you about him. In the dictionary, the definition of a father is the founder of a family. Hallmark cards say that fathers are providers and leaders. They are wise, caring, loving, supportive, and understanding. My father was all of that and a whole lot more. He was born in Laos. Growing up, he was a man of less than modest means. He lost his father at an early age, so he looked up to his older brother for guidance, wisdom, and strength. He knew how important family was to stay close to each other. Circumstances separated my dad and his brothers. His older brother moved to America, and his younger brother moved to France, which left him, his mom, and his younger sister behind in Laos. Daddy then met my mother, and Mama says that he fell in love with her at first sight. They got married and had me, then my sister. But times were very rough, and my dad wanted more for his family. He and my uncle built a canoe so that we could take across the Mekong River and escape to Thailand. My aunt was a nurse, so she drugged us young children so that we would stay quiet in the boat while they pretended to fish crossing that river. If they were caught, our family would have been killed on the spot. Daddy said it was the longest 30 minutes of his life. We ended up staying in the Napo refugee camp for 4 years. And during our stay, Daddy found odd jobs to make ends meet. And at night, he would sneak out to hunt and fish to provide food for our family and anyone else that couldn't feed themselves. He never forgot about his younger sister and his mom, who he left behind, though. One time, he and my mom spent weeks, morning and night by candlelight, cross-stitching a huge canvas to sell for money to try and pay for someone to help them escape. But that man ripped them off, and Daddy didn't give up, though. He was determined to find a way to piece his family back together. We eventually landed in America to be close to his older brother again, and later my aunt and my grandma joined us. Daddy knew it was like what it was like to live extremely poor and had nothing. But he vowed to never let his children suffer the way he did. He worked very hard to give us a good life. Anything we ever wanted, Daddy made sure we would have. He sacrificed to give us a great education so that we would have the most opportunity to thrive. When I was little, I remember crying. I remember coming home crying to tell him that I couldn't do something as well as the other kids. And he told me, honey, you can do anything anybody else can do, if not better. Throughout my life, I've learned that he was right. So people would wonder where I get my confidence from. It's because my dad told me that I could, even when I told him that I could not finish school and become a doctor. He was so supportive, and he told me to do what makes me happy. Daddy was wise, strong, supportive, and fearless. He had a great big heart and loved to help others. He got his happiness from watching other people being happy. 2 years ago, Daddy went to visit his brother in France. He wanted to go see how he was doing, and he came back with an empty wallet because he wanted my uncle to have the best life he could. Daddy said, money is nothing if you don't help people with it. That's when the hospital called. That's why when the hospital called the morning he passed, asking if he would donate his outer cornea to help give a blind person sight, my mom and I didn't hesitate to say yes. We knew that's exactly what he would have done. Everyone also knows that I have always been Daddy's little girl, and I always will be. So I asked him, Daddy, aren't I your favorite daughter? Aren't I your favorite child? He replied, honey, I love all my children the same, equally. Then I reminded him that no one loved him more than I did. He laughed and he said, you and your sister and your brother are very different, but you are all special. Daddy embraced uniqueness. He wasn't afraid to be different. He wanted us to be, he didn't want us to be afraid either. Being ourselves was enough for him as long as we were the best of ourselves. I know someone else that bears no judgment. He loves unconditionally, and he would give you the shirt off his back, even though he does not have another one to put back on. I see my dad's same huge heart every time I look at my brother. And my dad's stubbornness, drive, will, determination, that went to my sister. She is highly accomplished and achieved everything that she set her mind to. She's also kind, caring, and equally as honest as my daddy was. Then there's me. Earlier this year, I told my dad that I'm going to sell my handmade stuff on the internet, even though I have zero social media skills. He said, honey, you can do anything anybody else can do, if not better. So I will. As a father's legacy to his children, if a father's legacy is his children, then I know my father is very proud of his legacy. And we are extremely proud that he was our father because he loved us so very much. "2015, I wrote that and read that on April, I forget the date, whenever the funeral day was. Here we are 4 years later, right? Here we are 4 years later, and I'm on YouTube live with you guys, meeting every Saturday to talk about what's going on. Being at that viewing on Wednesday for my godmother, if you had just joined, her aunt had passed and she was really close to her. Being at that viewing that day, the entire ride home, I had sobbed like a baby because I was back at this day all over again, like it was yesterday. I hadn't visited that part of my memory in a long time, and yeah, he really was, and now you know why I suppress it. Believe it or not, getting through that eulogy, I didn't cry a single tear. I read that in full. Uh, uh, I got through that entire thing without one tear until afterwards, and it was amazing because I know, I definitely know the Lord was with me that time, because I didn't want it to be marred by me like sobbing and stuttering and couldn't get through it. But he God got me through. God got me through that moment by the same way He got me through the rivalry video. And so, excuse me. And so I didn't expect that emotion to happen, but I guess probably should have read it before I came and read it onto you. I might have been more prepared for what I wrote. But that was 2015, and here we are 4 years later, and it just made me realize, I'm like, why that. And that was true, because in January, so that was April, and in January I didn't make that announcement to him that I wanted to sell my stuff online. And I remember being so scared, and I had no social media skills. Remember, my husband had to open a Facebook page for me, and so that I can post my stuff online. And then I learned about Instagram, I learned about Etsy, I learned about all that stuff. And and I had to do a lot of like mental prep work. I listened to a lot of podcasts. I watched a lot of motivational videos, things that made me brave, things that made me get confidence to be online and to share my work, you know. And so there was a lot of prep work that went involved in that. But I remember, so I made that announcement in January, and I quit everything I start. I'm a startitis. I suffer from startitis. It's real. That's why I have a 5 billion WIP projects that I love to start stuff, but finishing is a whole other beast. I think I'm going to vow the rest of my life to be a finisher. So if I finish off my life being a finisher, then that should correct my 40 years of just constantly starting stuff and never finishing anything. But that was my why for staying in this game for this long, is because I told him that I was going to do that, and then he passed. And then I spent months not picking up hooks and needles because I was so depressed and I was so sad. Um, and then finally, I think about October, November, I signed up for a craft show that I was not ready for, that was completely new to me, and I just did it. And so that got me making again, was just because signing up for a craft show. I think it was November, Thanksgiving weekend. I think I was doing a craft show. It was my first one, and I hadn't been doing anything for months after my dad passed, and so I like spent like the last August and September like working off like crazy, trying to make things and making all kinds of dolls. I think I had made 15 dolls to put up at that stand that day. And if you go at the super bottom, my very first Instagram post is those dolls. Uh, and only because somebody had asked us to share what was our first Instagram post recently on my stories, and I was able to find. I was like, oh, I forgot about those dolls. I was like, man, and to go back and look at that picture, I'm always like, and I tell myself I'm not creative, crazy. I was like, now how about that from a lie from the enemy, right? So so I did that, and then in January I invested into the Meriwether Etsy training program so that I could learn Etsy, and I wanted to get, so I took a course on Etsy, and I didn't have the money at the time. I took all of my Christmas money and invested in that course, and then I spent the rest of that following year learning Etsy because I couldn't stop. I had told my dad that was what I was going to do, and then I didn't. It was the one thing I wasn't going to do, was quit on myself in this big dream that I had. And so I have a difficult time finishing things. Me too, Kathy. Let's you and me like be kindred spirits and hold hands each other to finish these things that we start. Speaking of which, I gotta finish typing up those two patterns, Mary and Esther, so I can get them out to my testers. I need one more tester for Mary and one more tester for Ellie. The two scarf patterns for Savvy Skeins with Esther. So if you guys want to message me on Instagram or Facebook, send me a message and let me know if you want to test. I'm sorry, I keep saying Esther. I mean Phoebe. Let me know if you want to test Phoebe out or Mary. This one, I'm gonna assume it's a bigger weight. So this is a bigger. It's gonna use, but basically you can use anything, any yarn, any hook that you have. It's just making sure that my math is correct for this. If you've never tested patterns before. So message me if you want to be a tester. I need one more of each, and then I'm gonna aim to finish that this week, if not this weekend, and get that going. And I don't know what my problem is because it's already done. So it's not like I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I did. I know what I did. I just have to put it down on paper. I just have to discipline myself to get it down on paper. But yeah, being at that viewing this week, it made me revisit that day and remind me of that eulogy and my big why I can't stop this big dream of mine to sell my handmade goods online, and it just looks different now because I want to be a pattern designer and I still, you know what I mean, occupying the online space. And I think what contributed to my why going even further, it's funny because I started my Etsy shop. I started my online shop to basically create and make things and sell my handmade goods and put it into the world. But then I created that Dare to Be Original Facebook group, and I found that engaging with the online community of makers and helping them, helping encourage them and motivating them, because I know how hard it is, because I go through it, I suffer from it, I'm living it out the same way. And so I thought to share what I know was the best way that I could serve this world and to get people to create and battle the enemy's lies by by helping people pursue the dreams that God has put upon their heart and to share the gifts and talents that God has blessed them with, that we hide, that we don't foster, you know. Knit and crochet is a God-given gift that I got. Being a crafter is a God-given gift that I have. When I'm not creating and when I'm not being creative, a little part of me gets sad, and the crazy thing about when I get sad is the last thing I want to do is create. So the only cure is to create, and that takes the hardest motivation, and that's how the enemy wins for the majority of the time. And is that we usually the solution is simple, but it's not easy, you know. And so but yeah, that just made me, I was like, so, I was like, well, maybe I should just read the eulogy and put it out on YouTube and let people know why I do the things that I do and what it looks like. And when I tell you your why has to be really big, it has to be really big. That's why it's so big for me. That's why because to get through, I had a year where I had to take a year off. I just totally disappeared from social media altogether because I was just like so sick. And the last thing I wanted to do is get on camera. The last thing I wanted to do is get on camera and express my woes to the world. But but it turns out that when I did, if you go back to my YouTube video as to why I'm back and thriving, that was just me telling you what my illness was and what I was battling, and I didn't need to go public. But the reason why I went public with it is because I know that's what Satan was using against me to keep me from moving forward. Was that he was using my secret of being sick and my shame of it. He was using it to keep me from moving forward. And so the reason why I made that video was because I wanted to shed light to it so that he couldn't use it against me anymore, so that I wouldn't be afraid of it, so I wouldn't be afraid to go public with it, and I couldn't use it as an excuse anymore to hide, you know, to hide basically. And so when I did that, it felt very freeing, you know. And so yeah, so that's pretty much it. And and so this week, so once I get those projects done, I'm going to I came across a Marley Bird video, I think on YouTube, that she's got a crochet sock along. I'm going to check that out. I'm also going to be trying, if I do our knit sock along, I'm going to do it with 2 socks at the same time. I'm going to figure out how to do that and then do our sock along, because I don't think, I think we have a better shot at doing a knit sock along if we do them at the same time than to make one sock at a time. Only because I know, remember all the socks that we did for crochet? Oh my God, I don't want to even, like, I want to master that skill and share that skill with everybody. That skill set, that if we could do it at the same time, we'll be done and finished, and we are going to take over the world after that, because I don't see anything else that would challenge us if we can't do 2 pairs of socks at the same time. So that's in the horizon. I think that's going to be the big fall project. But as of right now, so we're starting, so today's the last day of August, and I've been being reminded of that eulogy and my big why, and revisiting my big why as to why I want to pursue this online career uh, of sharing my creativity, and then at the same time motivating and helping each other be creative ourselves and stay creative, and to keep creating. I created a handmade mastermind, and that was a small group of women that I worked with for the whole year. And I am considering doing that again for these next 4 months. So for September, October, November, and December, to really finish off our year strong. So if you want to start an online, like if you want to sell your stuff online or want to pursue this online world and you don't know what to do, or you don't know how to do it, or even if you are and you want to be a part of a mastermind of like-minded women, let me know if you're interested in doing this. It's going to be just these 4 months where we're going to finish off the year with a bang. And the big thing that it's going to do is it just helps us hold us accountable to show up for ourselves. I'm going to take 2 seconds and let Indy out because he's being a pain. Can you hear him in the background? Hold on a second. Come on. One of these days we're going to go live and I won't have to be interrupted by him. But the thing is, he's a digger. And that's why I can't leave him out for too long, because he hasn't been, knock on plastic laptop. He hasn't been digging lately. So, but it's still something that John and I don't want to test. So we try not to leave him out too long unattended. And if I let him out before I go live and come back, I'm afraid he's going to dig a hole to China. You know what I mean? Because he's so fast, he could do it. Um, so that's why I try. Sometimes I'll get away with not letting him out, but sometimes he is a pain in my behind. So I'm considering doing that for the next 4 months, and it takes to run it. It takes a lot out of me. I know for experience, because I want to show up like completely and authentically to the mastermind group. So if you have that in your heart, send me a message. If there's not enough people interested, then I won't pursue it, and if and I'll go at it alone. But since I am gonna go hardcore these next 4 months into going after my dream here, you know, of being a pattern designer and basically showing up for myself, it is not just about posting and thinking everybody's going to come. It is a lot more than that. To be your own boss, to be your own, have your own business, to have your own, to pursue your own endeavor, it takes a lot more than that. And what it takes the most is showing up for yourself every day. That's the biggest thing, is showing up every day. We can create, and we all have different blocks. Right now, mine is creating, but we can create nonstop. But then the techie side, the business side, people like get nervous about, and that's what the mastermind would help you with, to gain confidence and to. I see from the corner of my eye, Liberty is now up, and he's like, "Wait a minute, I want to go out too." You want to go? You want to go? Come on, let's go. Come on. Hold on a second. Now, what's good about Liv is he's the older brother and he won't dig. So if he sees Indy digging, Liberty will start barking because he'll be like, I don't want a part of this and I don't want mommy and daddy to be blaming me. Like, so he'll bark and he'll make noise. Then that's how we'll know that, okay, Indy's up to no good, because Liberty will tell on him. So yeah, so I'm thinking of doing that. And if I go hardcore, I just want to see how many people I can take on the ride with me and help people the same way that I'm working on helping myself. So if you're interested, definitely send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, so that I know you're interested, of being a part of the mastermind. And it's for 4 months. And we basically, it's showing up for ourselves and each other and helping hold each other accountable and sharing our tips and tricks. And if you've never been a part of a mastermind, imagine the support of that Dare to Be Original Facebook group, but heightened because we all have the same goal in mind, and that is pursuing our goals, you know. And so it's a lot more it's a lot more strategic. So LOL at the pups. I have a toddler among my pups too. Oh, really? That's funny. The stories we could share about these dogs, right? So tell me, what are you guys doing? What are you guys working on this week? We got like 20 minutes left. What are you guys working on? The one big secret I am working on, you guys, I'm making my first sweater. I am making my first sweater, and I'm so excited and I'm terrified, but I'm going to finish it. And I'm hoping maybe next week or the week after, I'm going to be uh, wearing it and showing you guys what I've made. So I'm making my very first sweater, and I'm terrified that it's going to be too small. But the best thing about crocheting is that it's adjustable. So that's why I was going to decide on following like a knit sweater pattern, but I was like, knitting would commit me to circular needles, and then if the gauge isn't right, and if I can't fix knitting, because once it's on the needles, it's tough to fix. But if I crochet, if it's too small, I can find ways to make it fit me. And the reason why is because the instructions were under small and medium, and I'm keeping it that, and then I think I'm just going to expand it, which is probably my big mistake. But I think I can make it wider, which I think I might as I'm doing, because crocheting, I can adjust the numbers from my head better than with knitting. So I'm gonna try that, and so I'm really excited about that, and I want to make more things to wear. So I've been looking at a lot of Instagram pages that are knit and crocheting sweaters, which I've never allowed myself to do. I've never even been interested because it was just such an unattainable goal of mine. an unattainable dream that I never even allowed myself to search that. But as I'm looking through Instagram and people like knit and crochet sweaters, my God, there's some beautiful creations in this world. There are some ridiculously talented makers. Well, I said last year I wanted to do a sweater. Yeah, and I I'm working on my very first sweater right now, so I'm like super excited about it. And so I want to and what so I want to wear it all winter, so I'm working on that. So hopefully I'll be done with it soon. Um, so yeah, it was a tough week. So I have a couple of doctor's appointments these next 2 weeks. And is it a pullover or a cardigan? It's this one's a pullover that I'm working on, but I found a cardigan. Um, I found a cardigan that I'm going to do right after this pullover. So the first one I'm doing is a pullover. The next one is a cardigan, and they're both crochet. And I found the videos on YouTube. Um, so I just basically look up sweater, knit crochet sweater on YouTube and found several ones. And I'm kind of like mishmashing so I'm watching a couple of the videos and I'm seeing what they do. And then I'm kind of going to do my own thing because you know how I am about following patterns. I didn't even download any of the patterns. I'm basically watching those videos just to see the skills, to learn the skills of what they're actually doing. And then I kind of do my own make of it. And then maybe one day, someday, we can do a make along with that too. But that's like into the maybe that's into 2000. So stay tuned to the channel. So that's pretty much that. And then so I'm going to yeah, so these next 4 months, if I have any takers with the mastermind to join me in the mastermind, that would be great. And if I don't, then I'll go out alone and share the journey with you guys here every Saturday. And so, are you guys happy about Monday Morning Motivation being back on YouTube again? So I'm super thrilled. Thank God for Sarah for finding out this StreamYard that was able to get me live and doing this. Um, and so, yeah. And yesterday I had a migraine, so it was rough. It was a rough day. But where's my box? Oh, my box is here. Let me show you. Let me give you a sneak peek of it. So the pullover sweater that I'm gonna do, and I'm using just what I have in house. It's the Lion Brand Pound of Love. I just have it here. This is one of my favorite ones. I love using this. It's a size 4, medium. And I've used this. I love using this because there's a heather look to it. I love using this with the triple yarn method, um, the triple yarn method seed stitch scarf that I make, which I'm going to finish some projects and mystery crochet along. I haven't finished, and baby blanket. Oh, you've got a lot. You've got a lot going on. So do I. So do I. But I want to. The reason why I want to finish this is because I want to wear it. And I've never been able to say that I've finished a sweater so that I can wear. And I want to be able to do that. I want to finish the year off doing that. And I think it's going to help. Carol Price, God bless you. Masterclass sounds great. Masterclass for the Handmade Creative Mastermind. Are you interested in joining the mastermind? If you are, send me a message on Instagram and just let me know referring to that, and then I will get the information out to you. There will be a fee to join, just to let you know, because first of all, you pay attention to what you pay for. So there's a lot of free stuff that you can join online, but we all know that when we get free emails, we ignore those emails. And so there will be a fee to join this mastermind, and it's, or you could call it a club, you can call it whatever, but it is a group where we hold each other accountable so that at the end of 2019, these next 4 months, we're going to achieve things and pursue things that is going to take us to a different level than we were 4 months ago. And I can say that with confidence. So here we are at the end of 8 months. Remember your January goals when you had, how far along did you get? Because we're 8 months now into it. What did you do to pursue those 8 months? Are you 8 months? Did you show up for yourself the way you wanted to? Are you the version that you had saw yourself 8 months ago in January when you started your brand new resolutions of you know what I mean? And if you weren't, if you fell short, if you fell a lot short, it is most likely because you didn't hold yourself accountable to pursuing that dream. I'm speaking to myself personally. I'm speaking as myself personally. And that's why I thought maybe I can finish stronger with a mastermind group than, and that's why I'm considering opening it back up, you know. I looked up the lady you spoke about last week, her videos, Miranda. I love her. Who? Who is Miranda? Kathy, can you let me know who Miranda is? Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I referred you. I don't know offhand who a Miranda is. but but what was I gonna say? So that's the reason why I'm considering maybe the best way for me to get through these next 4 months is to reopen that mastermind and be a part of something amazing again. Because what like I said, what you pay for you, and it's not a lot. It's just enough to make you go, enough to make you want to show up for yourself. Let's look at it that way. So it's probably, I'm debating on the fee itself, maybe $50, maybe $100, something like that. Depending on what the number of takers that we have interested in it. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, I'm gonna be working on that sweater. So I'm like really excited about that. So maybe if next Saturday you guys see me, if I'm super productive, I could show up. Oh, the exercise video. Yes, is that her name? You did? That's awesome. That's right. I forgot about that. I've been doing that this week, and I have to return the video. I'm hoping that I get my hands on the video. So what was it? Eccentrics? That's right, eccentrics. So has it been helping you? Because I've been telling my friend who recommended that video to me that it's been helping me a lot. And my knee, which was stiff, and the reason why I remember I injured my knee in high school, my knee that was getting stiffer and stiffer and making my hip hurt, my knee is not stiff anymore. And so I definitely, it's because of that. It's because of that, doing those workouts. It's because of the joints. And I didn't realize how much. It's funny because working out this whole time, I've always concentrated on muscles. And so like I would stretch, but I would stretch my muscles. I would do workouts and because of the muscles, but never once did I consider joints. Never once did I consider like keeping your joints limber and keeping, you know what I mean, and making that strong and keeping yourself agile for that. Like you spoke about exercise videos. What a friend gave you? Yeah, about aging backwards. Yes. I'm so glad that you are into that. And so yeah, it was funny because somebody was limping at work because you could tell like his foot or his knee was bothering him at work. And I said to Julia, I was like, Julia, I want to tell him about your video that you recommended so that if he did it, I know he wouldn't be limping anymore. because I can attest attest to it too. So I've been working, and thank you for reminding me. That makes me feel good that you got into it, and so now I have somebody else to share that with, you know. So so that's it. What else are you guys working on? Do you guys have any challenges this week besides me and my medical procedure that I have to go through this week, and then another one next week? So I have to take both of those days off. I will be knocked out for them. So I'm going to spend the rest of that day finishing up projects. So hopefully, what is the name of the video? It's oh, it's upstairs right now. It's Eccentrics. Is ESSENTRICS. Google that word and you'll know. It's it's exercise videos. It's aging backwards, and it's you suffer from rheumatoid arthritis and it's helping you. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So Ellie, what's the lady's name, please? Kathy, can you put it in if you remember her last name? But if you Google eccentrics, she pops up, because I remember I did that just to see, and she pops up. And so let me just type it in the eccentrics. I think she calls it that because it's workouts that aren't like, I'm assuming they're like the essentials to it helps you. There's simple workouts being that you're just loosening up your joints and you're getting the gunk out so you're not stiff. And I had no idea that I was in pain. So every time I would be in pain, I would stretch. I think I found 5 videos in the package. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's right. That seems familiar. That name seems familiar. Yeah, so look her up. But they have videos on YouTube. They have free videos. I think there's a YouTube channel called Eccentrics or something that I subscribed to recently, but I haven't checked out the video. I saw 1 or 2. If you want to experiment with that kind of workout, go check it out and see. I'm assuming it's going to be like the same principles. And I wonder if that's her daughter or something. I didn't investigate thoroughly or anything, you know what I mean? So it might have been her daughter or something that is pushing it through. But yeah, it's definitely aging backwards. I think she was like 67 years old that on the video that I was looking at, and I think that was like made in the 90s. It wasn't even, so I don't even know if she's even still alive today. I don't know. But yeah, I joined the online TV to stream, only $14.95 a month for 350. Oh, you did join that? I saw that and I wasn't sure. So did you like it? So you're trying different things? That's awesome, Kathy. And for $15, remember I said like $15 a month, I get one audiobook with Audible. Like that's $15 a month. You get 300 workout videos to make yourself pain-free. And that's really what happened, was I became pain-free. It's a pain-free workout because it gets you to not, like, it helps you. And it has to do with joints more than muscles. And you love it. That's awesome. Hey, so glad I mentioned Allah. I'm going to tell my friend at work about you, Kathy, because I don't even think Julia definitely doesn't do the video stream, but I'll tell her that I found somebody that joined the video stream and loves it, and it helps you with your rheumatoid arthritis. Look up keto and carnivore diet for rheumatoid arthritis. That will help you too. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm still working on kicking that sugar addiction that I have. So and that's why you guys would be so proud of me. You see what I'm drinking here? Look, I stick my hand in it. Tea. I'm drinking tea, people. So can you see this? Ooh, it's a reflection. So you actually I count my blessings. I count you twice. Somebody, when I count my blessings, I count you twice. A friend gave me this, and I was like, you know what? This is gonna be my teacup. I'm gonna drink this in my teacup. I'm going to treat drinking tea as my treat to helping my body. take in some antioxidants. And so this is the new habit that I'm going to pick up this week that I want on my quest to pursuing a better version of myself. So I woke up this morning feeling much better from my migraine, because yesterday was abysmal, like it was a blur. When I get migraines, it's just a blur of a day. I'm lucky I tell you my name. um, so this morning I woke up much better, not completely, but a lot better than yesterday. So I did the dishes. I listened to the continued listening to what is the audiobook? Better than before. I can't think of her name. Uh, so uh, so that was so that got me motivated for the day to start my morning. And then so coming on to live, I was like, better than before by Gretchen Rubin. That's right. And so it was about it was a subject about um, uh, treats, like treating yourself, and what you count as a treat. So I'm going to count teas as my treat, even though if you've heard me from the past say I'm a coffee drinker, I hate drinking tea. But I've over the years I've learned to, oh my God, I make fermented vegetables. One thing that I absolutely love, I get red onions, organic red onions, big organic red onions from my local grocery store or farmer's market. And they say it has to be organic because the pesticides and the I think it keeps it from fermenting, right? Is that the laws of fermenting? I'm not sure. To help with my probiotics. So I did the same thing. Is I cut up big red onions, organic red onions, and put it in my mason jar, and put a lot of sea salt. There's numbers, but I have done it so many times that I don't remember the numbers. You could look it up. I got the recipe somewhere online. But so put a certain amount of salt. But the last time I did it, I just put Himalayan salt in there, and then add fermenting takes toxins out of the veggies. Oh, really? Didn't know that. Yeah, sugar is evil, Ellie. I keep remembering that every time I'm channeling Ellie every single time that I want to battle my sugar, and I'm reminded like I want to eat a sweet. I'm always like, oh, sugar is evil. It's worse than heroin. Just back off, back off. But it's a strong force. It's a strong force. But I'm also with my coffee now. I'm not putting sugar in my coffee. I just have my creamer, which is vanilla almond milk. So whatever that minuscule sugar is in there, that's what's in my coffee in the morning. So my coffee is not sweet and creamy like it used to be, because I don't want to wake up to that anymore. So I'm trying to change my taste buds so that I can adjust, and therefore I can drink this tea normally. And over time, I'm going to crave this tea and prefer that and cut off sugar all the way together. So those are my things. So you ferment red onions. Yes. Fermenting. So back to my onion. Cut up the organic onions any size you want, and I put it into the mason jar. I crack Himalayan salt into it. I think it says 2 tablespoons. I can't remember the number, but I just crack enough to cover, to coat the top. And then add filtered water, or my filtered water that I have, and then put that in there and fill it up to the top, and leave a little bit, because I before the rim. So I do leave a little bit, but you want the water to cover the salt and the onion, just covering it. And then I close my lid, but I leave a little bit opening, like just a slight, like not seal it tight, that mason jar. Like, because if you do, then every day you have to remember to burp it, which is release the air. But the last time, so I left it a little open, right? And I put it in my cupboard, and then I totally forgot, Kathy. I totally forgot for the whole week. And I was like, oh, good God, I didn't know what I was going to go come back to, because I never burped it. I never revisited it again. But luckily, it was by me leaving that little gap. I had let it, like, it was like a self-burping method. So I left just enough air that it didn't need the burp apparently, but it was completely fermented. And then I just put it in the fridge and I enjoyed it and I ran out of it. And now I want to make more of it because we're talking about it. And I love it in everything that I make. Like I love it in noodles. I love it in salads. I love it. Just, it was so good. But in my head, I feel like when I was making it, I thought it was going to be like, do you guys ever have the green goddess salad at Panera Bread? Oh my God, it's so good, the green goddess salad. But I never have it with their green dressing. I always have it with Caesar dressing. And they have red onions in there that are like a pickled red onion, and it's sweet and sour. So it is so yummy, that red onion. And for some reason, when I made my red onion, my fermented red onion, I imagined it was going to be that, but there was no sweetness. It's just salty. And I've done that with I've added garlic in there just to give it a little like flavoring and a little heat. I kind of remember, and I think I enjoy that too. But it didn't need the garlic. So you make white kimchi and the whole family wants it. That's cool. I've never done the cabbage version of this fermenting, but I've only done, oh, and I've done it with carrots. I've done the same thing with carrots. I've shredded up carrots and I fermented carrots the same way, and that is delicious too. You're making me want to do that. I'm gonna do that. I want to ferment. I have carrots, and I do have carrots actually. I have organic carrots in the fridge. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna ferment carrots this week, and I'm gonna make that. Thank you, ladies. This is why I love coming on here. This is why I love our weekly Saturday lives, to see what we're working on here, because that's firing me up to go back and do that. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna ferment carrots. I'm excited. I'm excited. And so that's another thing that I'm working on this week is I'm gonna cut up my vegetables. I'm gonna do all my fruit veggie prep this week so that I eat better. This is the one thing about going to the doctors and being reminded that you're not your best shape and that you have to take care of yourself physically is you get to realize that all the fun that I have with food is just killing me. It's just killing me. And the crazy thing is, I was just talking about that, lies from the enemy. Like, what are the things? It's funny because unlike like smoking and drinking, those kind of addictions, I could just avoid. And then therefore, I don't have to be addicted to it, right? So that's why I don't drink, I don't smoke. So, but when you have a food addiction, and that's what I suffer from, a food addiction, I glorify food. I It has always been my comfort. Like food loves me and it doesn't judge me. But I didn't realize that. See, that's Satan's lie to me, is that food doesn't judge me, but it kills me, and it kills me slowly. But I don't know it because all I think about is how great it tastes, and the less nutritious, the more I love it, and that's where the negative part happens, and that's the battle that I fight with. But I can't get rid of food. It's not like I can like avoid it altogether. So to make better decisions, oh my God, it's so tough. And I do it, but I do it begrudgingly and I hate it. And therefore I constantly trying to like keep my friends, that motivate me, that are doing great things to their bodies with food, that use food as medicine, and I'm trying to channel some of that and remind myself of that instead of, and all this to say that I think John and I are going to a fair tonight. So I'm going to talk about all the great fermenting food with you, and I'm going to channel Ellie's, sugar is so bad for you. And then all I want at this fair tonight is a funnel cake and potato pancakes. The more fried it is, the better off, and sausage and peppers and kibasi and all kinds of stuff. Like, it's just horrible. I wish I was like my husband, where I'm not driven by food, because he's not driven by food. He eats to live. I live to eat. So I learned that a long time ago. There's two type of people in the world. People eat to live, but I live to eat, and therefore it's always going to be a struggle for me. Do unflavored vanilla and use liquid vanilla stevia. That's interesting. I put, when some once in a while work will offer, like they'll make big pot of coffee for us and then they'll provide, and I always pick stevia as my sweetener over sugar. So you'll be proud of me for that, Ellie. I do pick stevia, and I just take one packet because it is a lot sweeter. It is a lot sweeter than regular sugar, which is, I remember somebody saying that stevia has a bad taste, so they didn't like it, and so therefore I can taste that bad taste, but I don't know if it's because they conditioned me because they put it in my head, or that I know. But I do pick stevia when I get that opportunity. Like somebody had just retired from work, and that just happened actually yesterday, and I picked stevia in my coffee. So that's pretty much it. All right, so it's 10 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you for your kind words about my daddy. I'm so glad that you guys indulged me in reading that eulogy. And I was glad that I read it because in the beginning I read it a couple of times to remind myself, but I haven't looked at that. I would say in like 3 years, I haven't looked at that eulogy, and that just actually reminded me of my big why as to why I'm continuing and I won't give up on this big dream of mine to creating and selling my stuff, selling my creativity online. And so that just kind of helped me remember that. And so if you guys have a big why for pursuing the audacious dreams that you have, share it, leave a comment, let me know. And if you're watching the replay, leave a comment, let me know. I'd love to know your big whys to pursuing your best versions, because it's hard work. Being your best and pursuing a best life is hard work, and that's why not many people do it. Not many people pursue their best versions because they're perfectly content with the status quo. But I'm going to assume if you're following me and you're visiting my world through via YouTube and Instagram, it's because you're looking to be motivated, and you need motivation to up level any status that you're in. So if you're doing that, then share with me your why, because I'd love to know other people's whys. Help motivate me too. Hence the Handmade Creative Mastermind that I'm considering reopening up for these next 4 months. If anybody's interested, send me a message and let me know. And that's pretty much it. You guys have an amazing week. And hopefully I'll be wearing my sweater next week. What do you think? What do you think? Kathy, I say we challenge ourselves to finish off one thing this week. And Ellie, you need to message me so that we can set up a Zoom meeting, because we got to get you going, lady. I know you're busy, but we got to get you going. You got to put 30 minutes for yourself sometime in there. All right. And let me know when you're free so we can get you started in this online world, so that you'll be all ready when Mary's all ready to get released, because we're very close. We gotta be. I'm gonna finish up typing it this week, and then I'll send you. Oh wait, you know what, Ellie, you can be my tester. Do you have time? You could test if you're interested in testing the pattern. I should have probably asked you to test for me. I think Allie has her assistant. I think her assistant will be testing the pattern for the Phoebe pattern for her, because I don't think she has time. Food porn. We gotta just eat simple to fuel our bodies. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying. That's why I'm like, I can't tell you how I'm trying to recondition my brain to eat simple to fuel my body, and not to. What food does is it fuels my heart. Because I love it so much, and then I don't realize how bad it is for me until I have to go to the doctors, and the doctors tell me I'm in really, really bad shape. And then I'm like, son of a beep. I guess I should probably do something with the food, huh? You know? Oh, wow. Us and our demons, right? Okay. Until next week, guys. Monday Morning Motivation is on Monday at 6 a.m. If you're joining us, we'll be super happy. Sarah and I from Pamper Treasures would love to have you. I believe she picked a quote already. I'm not positive. And if not, we might end up using the quote that I'm using today. Did you see Darren Hardy? I heard this week that I absolutely love. There are no failures, only quitters, and that totally reminded me of this. Is like there are no failures, only quitters. And so I think we can unpack that on Monday and really talk about that and and get our week right in that mind frame. So I'm gonna go message Sarah right now and use that for our quote. Ooh, look at that. That's the first time on these that I give you a sneak peek on our Monday morning motivation. So Ellie, if you're joining us on Monday, I think that's the quote we're gonna go with. There are no failures, only quitters. And we'll unpack that more this week. All right, God bless. Until next time. See you guys. Bye.